You can all see that, I hope. Something went wrong last night when I was doing this.
Yep.
I can see it.
Yeah.
So welcome to Rotary Albert Park tonight. We respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet. We pay respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. If you happen to have something near you, we normally toast Rotary. So I'd like to have a toast to Rotary Albert Park. Here's everybody. And first thing on the agenda is a presentation of two new members, Heidi and Kylie. Now, I saw that one of them was here, but I'm not sure about the other one yet. So Kylie's here.
Hi, Kylie.
Hi, Kylie.
Anyway, I can do it in two lots, it doesn't matter. But Kylie, welcome to Rotary Albert Park.
Thank you.
You've been invited to join us because we believe you have character and leadership qualities expected of Rotary. So I'll present you virtually with your certificates.
Thank you.
Sorry, I took it over to the computer to scan it. So I present you with your certificates.
Thank you.
When we're back in the real world, we'll give you the real thing plus your badge and membership badge and that sort of
Thank you.
So we look forward to your contribution to Rotary projects and activities, and welcome, as I said. So would we all now welcome Kylie in joining our club and thank her for choosing us.
Thank you.
And if Heidi comes in at some stage, I'll do that all again. Okay.
Lovely.
Hi, Richard.
Hi, Joan.
How are you?
I'm good.
Jane.
Hi, Liz. I can hear
Thanks
you,
for
but I
that.
can't see you.
Because I probably on the. You need to feed along on the window there, but anyway, that's all right. I can hear you too, but I can't see you as yet. But
Right.
Am I going to mute you, Liz?
yes, me.
Hey, club notices. You may have noticed in the newsletter last week that we have in Timor-Leste, we have a new dentist, an oral therapist. And so even despite COVID, we are now able to proceed with that. They've had very small numbers in Timor, but they're not letting in any foreigners at this stage. So we've got these two guys who are local, and it is restricted what they can do. Also, if you are feeling energetic, there's two walks you can do. One for Parkinson's, you can join ASA, or one for polio. In next meeting in a couple of weeks, we haven't quite sorted out yet, but the following 2 weeks after that, we have Murray Verso, because November is polio month, but that will be preceded by the annual general meeting. So in the next couple of days, you'll get a letter with reports and all that sort of stuff. I'm going through these pretty quickly because Geoff's already here.
That's all right. No, take it. Go for it. I just came early to spy, find out.
All right, yeah. Other things coming up in the district. There's a business breakfast on the 28th of October by an executive director of Dunlop. We have the Great Rotary debate between Melbourne and Sydney on the 5th of November, commemorating 100 years. And then there's a Paul Harris breakfast on the 24th of November. If you want to get up that early, you don't have to go far. Lastly, any committee announcements? We had a board meeting last night, went through the budget ad nauseum. Painful effort, seeing we're not be able to get as much money this year, but I think we've sorted it out. Anything else from any committee?
Richard, I've got one.
Yes, Jay.
If anyone knows of anyone who might be interested in doing RILA, that's usually it's a week-long live-in 18 to 25-year-olds, usually first week of December. However, because of the COVID, it's now going to be done with 6 online sessions of 2 hours each over February, March. It used to cost the club about 810, I think, to send someone, but we've always sent someone along. It's a great opportunity, as Craig will tell you. Because it's online, it's only 150, but it'll cost the club 100. They want the participant, unless they're extremely poor, to provide 50 of it just to sort of ensure there's some commitment, because it's over the 6 weeks. They've got some pretty incredible guest speakers and stuff as well, but if any club member knows of anyone that might benefit the way Craig's son did last year, can you please let me know? We're looking for applicants.
Jim, we're looking for a couple of people for Muna as well.
No, that's through the school. They're organising that.
Oh, okay.
Park College. Yeah.
Right.
Thanks, Richard.
Birthdays and anniversaries. I noticed you there, Carol. Did you get a chance to do this?
What was that, Raylan?
I've got quite a few. We hadn't announced Alan's birthday back on the 29th of September, so I'd like to announce that now.
Yay.
Now, also, Donna Cooper is the 8th of October, Ish is on the 10th of October, and Ken is October the 23rd. Now, I've got quite a few for anniversary joining Rotary. Back in September, because we haven't had a chance to announce these, Ish has been here 5 years. Nance and Adrian on September the 28th have been here 4 years.
Wow.
Now, going down with the October ones, Ian Gandel, 19 years on the 1st of October. Kim, 5 years, the 1st of October. Evo, 13 years, the 3rd of October. Stella, 13 years, she's been in Rotary, October the 18th. Richard, 9 years, 19th of October. John, 4 years, October the 19th. And Matthew, 5 years on the 24th of October. And yes, that's all there is, but there were quite a few.
That's a pretty good catch up.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday for those couple of people, and happy anniversary for the others. And just having a quick look. No, not yet. Jeff, before we start with you, do you have a presentation or something you wish to load?
Yes. So, do you want me to share my screen?
Yes, if you would. You should have no problem.
Okay, rightio. Thank you. You okay for me to proceed?
Liz, do you want to do the honours?
Yes, I'd love to do the honours. Thank you. Okay, welcome very much, Geoff, to our club meeting. Everyone, Geoff is a member of the Bentley Moorabbin Central Rotary Club. And for some of you may not know that Geoff's club's sponsoring Loretta overseas in Finland. Geoff's own son was there last year. His son was there and he had a good time. Sorry, Geoff. And so Geoff said he kindly wanted to be a guest speaker because he wanted to enlighten us about Albert Park. And I thought that was so apt for our club. So without too much further ado, I'd like to introduce Geoff Gartly. Please put your hands together. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for having me. My son went to Finland 2 years ago now through District 9800 through Brighton Secondary School and had a ball. And he's also done RILA through 9800 and also very much benefited from the Rotary experience. So thank you to your district for looking after him, because it made it easier for me. But then again, we've been looking after Loretta. So, and I think Loretta has done extremely well over in Finland, and we're very proud that Helen and I are at our club at the effort that she's really put in. And I think it's done wonders for the organisation and also for the program. So let's hope when she comes back, I'm sure she will, she'll be a really good ambassador. And she probably won't recognise her mum, but that's what happens when kids go away for a year. They come back and they come back as little adults with opinions, and hopefully they go on to do amazing things. So now, I'm actually not from Albert Park, but as you come through my presentation, you'll understand why I have an interest in Albert Park. Let me just go and share my screen. And I've done this presentation a few times within my Scout group. So, and as I do it, every time I do it with a different group, someone else tells me something that I can add to the presentation. And it's a good way of building on what is a really strong history down at the lake. So I'm a Scout leader down at First Vic, and I'm also now the official group historian. So I'm going through a lot of old photos, a lot of history, trying to resurrect what's taken place over the last 100 years. And we hope to put a lot of those decorations back up in our Scout Hall. So hence when I got involved, I've started been digging around, talking to people, and I found out a lot that I didn't know myself. So, so hopefully I can give you some local knowledge that you guys might already know, and some local knowledge that you don't know. We've already acknowledged the traditional owners, and the site of the South Melbourne Town Hall was a significant meeting place for these Aboriginal people. And Albert Park, the wetland area, was as diverse as Kakadu in the Northern Territory. So it's quite a spread of area before white settlement took place. So obviously, for 40,000 years ago, Albert Park was a series of swamps. And in 1864, a public park was created, and it was named after Queen Victoria, Consort Prince Albert. And of course, the Aboriginal history still remains, and the most noticeable of that is the large river red gum tree, which is located down near the Junction Oval, which is called the corroboree tree, if you don't unaware of it. Okay, there's a picture of Albert Park. I think we're all familiar with it. Some of you, your local history will probably know better than me. There has been some changes, and we'll go through some of that as we do. There's over 100 bird species down at the park. Native mammals include reptiles, obviously wingbats, brush-tailed possums, and froglets. There's also some interesting bird life on Bent Island. And as a Scout group now, we used to go onto the island, and now we've decided that that's not really good for the environment, and because there's quite a bit of bird mating that happens in winter there on that particular island. So in 1992, there was 117 species identified. I'm trying to get a list from Parks Victoria as to different types of species. One of the locals says there's actually a lot of European species on the park, and a lot of South African grass, interestingly. Now that photo there of the island, Bent Island, is now pretty much covered in trees. In the early days, my father and his friends would have camped out on that island. So there, speaking of my father, that is my father. He was a member of First Vic Scout groups in the 60s. So that's how I have an association with the particular group. There's about 75 kids there at the moment. COVID sort of knocked us around, but I'm sure one of my aims is to get back there and help them rebuild it. So we'll get up to 120, 130 kids sailing regularly. My mother and father met at the Scout group, so there's quite a significance there. And my mother and her family grew up on Beaconsfield Parade near the Middle Park Pier. So I have fond memories of visiting that area when I was a young kid. So now I'm going to show you a little bit about yesterday and today and a few other photos. Some of them I pinched off Google, some of them are my photos, and some of them are actually my father's photos. So this is photo from just down the Scout Hall. We share that precinct with a couple of sailing clubs. And you can see many years ago, there was a lot more jetties there. There's, I think, only our jetty left there now. However, they are pushing for some money to redevelop that site along there. And obviously at the end of that is that expensive hotel or restaurant, which rumour has it is being run by a drug baron, but I'm not sure about that one. That's what the scouts tell me. But it's very expensive.
I know.
Yeah, they would know. And I haven't eaten there. So obviously there's been quite a bit of change. There's a picture of the 1940s, 1950s. Would have been about 1950s. There's been a lot of sailing and motorboat racing on the lake. You're not allowed to use the motorboats now unless it's as a safety boat for sailing. So it's obviously more recreational water sports there, which is good for us. So we sail there on a Sunday, get there on a Sunday morning and then sail in the afternoon. And the yacht club have the rights to sail on a Saturday. But we are going to go join them on a Saturday. So there's a bit of a roster system for the lake as to who gets to use it. I know Albert Park Rotary would have been about, from what I've told, about 7 or 8 years ago, helped paint part of our hall. And some of you might have even been there doing that. So our first hall was actually donated by the merchant seamen in the 1900s. And that was a bit further down from where it is today. So probably where that expensive building is. That hall got burnt down in the 1950s and then was built as a tin shack. And I remember going there as a kid when it was a tin shack. It was a little bit, again, it moved a little bit closer to the existing hall. And then with the Grand Prix and everything else, we got a new hall. So the hall isn't actually owned by us, it's owned by Parks Victoria. And we pay a peppercorn rent and we have to negotiate our existence there every couple of years. And I think we're just in the middle of renegotiating that at the moment. It's architecturally designed for those that have been in it, but there is a few problems with the birds and the way it's been built. But we put up with that, but overall, the location certainly makes up for it. And the last couple of years, we haven't had a lot of, the committees there haven't really done a lot with it. And we're going to revamp it so it looks more like a Sea Scout Hall. So there's a big picture of what it used to be, and then obviously what it is today. Unfortunately, over the years at the Sea Scout group, a lot of the memorabilia has disappeared, and there used to be a very expensive ship's wheel, and that was worth about $20,000, and someone stole that about 7 or 8 years ago, unfortunately. This is a photo of my father and his friends, or his scouts when he was a kid, well back in the 1960s. In 1993, many of you may have walked past this jetty. We actually had the lease to this jetty and was resurrected by ourselves. And my boss at the time, who's also was my father's good friend, opened the jetty in 1993. And it's a memorial for the Second World War for those soldiers. I'm trying to find the list of the soldiers that were actually recognised on that memorial. We're actually about to pull the flagpole down and repaint that. But that's quite a job in itself because it's the jetty needs a bit of work, which we're sort of semi-responsible for, unfortunately. So a bit of a history about Albert Park, and maybe at the end, if there's some locals that know a bit more, I'd be happy to add to it, please. So quickly, that's just a photo of the Scouts in those days. The uniforms are a bit different now. I think that, don't know if that building still exists, but I think all the halls have gone. So for those old enough, which is probably not many of us, the Army had acquired the south end of the park in the during World War II. And I think my grandfather was stationed either there or at Port Melbourne or at the barracks down at St Kilda Road. And so obviously they used Albert Park as a training area, and they built this beautiful building which is now heritage listed, which is still there today. So many of you would be aware of the Signal Drill Hall.
Yeah.
And that was there for, so they did a lot of preparation before the soldiers went to war in those days, and the hall was obviously used. There's if you go on and do a bit of a search, you'll find it's made up of about 5 or 6 big rooms. So thank goodness they didn't knock it over.
Can I interrupt, Geoff?
Hey?
Can I interrupt for a sec?
Yeah, go for it, please.
That hall,
Yes.
Signal Hall, is now the South Melbourne Park Primary School.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, I'll add that.
It only started last year.
Ah, excellent. So it's a very Art Deco style inside. I've never been.
Beautiful building.
Yeah. So I'll put that onto the thing. So that's I think round the south side, is it? That's it going around, I think.
No, it's up
Sort of southwest.
it's just down a bit
on
from
Albert Road.
McRobb College.
Okay, McRobb College. Okay. Yep.
Just down from there.
Yep. And see, I think I'm probably the wrong person to be doing this presentation, but that's all right. I'll keep adding to it, and it's nice to add to this to learn more about the history of your area.
Jim, before you go on, Geoff, please.
Yep.
Just up the road or down the road from that building is the old external education building or something. Is that part of the school as well?
No, that's the old South Melbourne Tech. Which is
that's it.
Yeah.
right on the corner of next to the light rail line.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
the
the old
building you're talking about then, that's terribly small.
No,
Just-
The school would have been knocked over, wouldn't it? The original school.
yeah, I think that's the tech school.
It's still there.
The tech school's still there. It's between
Right on the light.
It's next to MSAC.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, well, if you keep
the
going
other
up the
side.
road, you'll see the Signal Hall on the same road, but it's past MSAC
Yeah.
towards McRobb.
Okay. I thought it was the other school that had changed. Okay.
No.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, this is good. I'm making notes. The Cubs ask me every time I do something, I add to it. So obviously that would be Ben Island in the middle there. And they used to make Bailey bridges, which is bridges that would float on the river. So that was practicing making them for when they go to wherever they had to go overseas.
Looks a bit windy.
It does, doesn't it? I think it does. It's a very funny lake for sailing on. We do get days where it's still, and then there's other days where we go out and they have to call us back because it's just too windy. Obviously, I don't need to tell you much. There'd be a few locals that would know about the save the park area. And there's obviously the football club and bits and pieces there as well. So, and there was a horse track apparently on Audie Drive.
Yes.
You remember that one, Jim?
Horse track.
Yeah, it must have been. Well, it must have been
No.
probably in the 1900s, I would say.
Too young.
Oh, wow.
Interestingly, I used to do the tax affairs for the Davidson family. I never knew Lex Davidson, but I knew his wife. So, yeah, so they would have been exciting times in the 1950s. Some of these photos are actually come from my father. So, obviously, this is the launch of the boats into the start of the sailing season, and we do have similar boats. I don't think they're the same as what we've got. We've got dolphins, but they look very similar to what was there in the 1960s, and they had these little tin things that they slide them in. We have a bit of a jetty now that we can wheel them out and slide them over the top. Obviously, we've now got the aquatic centre. The polo returned in 2006. I don't know if that's still there. And the Albert Park Yacht Club is the oldest continuing yacht club in Victoria and was established in 1871, so well before us. And I'll tell you that they pretty much are the grandfathers of the lake. They're lovely people to deal with too. But again, they're struggling a bit with numbers as young people haven't gone back to sailing as much as they probably should. South Melbourne Footy Club, I remember going there when I was a kid. You guys probably would have been there. That was, I don't know when that photo was taken, but from that photo we can see our scout hall, which I think would have been one of these along here somewhere, depending on when it was taken. That's actually my uncle and his friend sailing along the outside the hall there. In those days, no life jackets, and they had to wear scout uniform. Yesterday, we were talking about our sailing season, and if it goes ahead, we'll have to disinfect the life jackets and probably a lot of the boats. So different era now. One of my local friends told me that they just put a whole lot of trout back into the lake.
I have.
Yep. And there's apparently carp in the lake as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and if you catch the carp, you're supposed to not throw them back in. So, but very much you've got to be within the 5K zone. And one of my other friends down at Mordialloc told me that they were booking, fisheries people were booking people the other day who were outside the zone, not only for not having a licence, but also being outside the 5K area.
Oh.
So
Good.
now there would have been some of you younger folk that would have gone to the powerhouse
Yes.
Yep.
and the dancing, and I didn't know that Olivia Newton-John sang there, but I gathered the Seekers would have, because that's all guys.
No,
No?
No,
Ah.
not the Seekers. No.
no.
According to the history that I had, it did, but then, yeah, I was surprised too, but yeah.
There
Anyway.
used to be the old powerhouse.
Yep.
There was an old building, and then I don't know what happened to that, and then they built the new powerhouse.
There you go. So yes, so I don't remember the old one, but so
It used to be on the dance floor, and you'd bounce.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Wow.
good fun.
It was a good pickup place.
Well, there you go.
Absolutely, Carol.
Now
Thursdays and Sunday nights.
I do know a little bit about the drainage system because one of the guys who've been around the Scout Hall for many, many years talks about the drain all the time and the fact that we have so many problems with the water levels. So obviously does anyone know about the Hannah Street main drain system which goes down Kingsway? And apparently that eventually goes out to the out into the Yarra and also in the bay, but we also get the leftovers that come into the lake. Because often we've had times where the water has evaporated so much, apparently in the past years, where we haven't been able to sail. So apparently it's a continuous problem. And I said in 20 years ago, in 2003, was the lowest level. I think I vaguely remember the water. I remember the water restrictions. I don't remember the lake being drained out. And then prior to that was 1983. So some of you guys probably would have remembered that. But they're also, from what I read, they were quite pleased with how Parks Victoria managed to get it back up and did a far better job than Lake Windaree, which had a similar problem.
Windaree is full now.
It is now, yes. For a while there was a bit of an issue. Next month they're cutting the reeds down there because that is a problem. If you've ever fallen into the lake, which I have a few times, other than around the other side of the island, it pretty much just comes up to about here. But when you get out, it's full of, dirt and rubbish and reeds. So obviously they come around once a year, Parks Victoria, and they're going to cut the reeds, and they go off to be made into fertiliser for wine orchards, apparently.
Oh. Do they have a big plastic problem?
No, not so much. It's actually pretty clean when we're out sailing. I think Parks Victoria do a pretty good job down there.
They've got booms on the water inlets.
On the roadside.
They capture the rubbish before it gets in there.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, I must admit, I don't see it as much of a problem. It's a well-used park, though. And of course, actually, Jim, you would have remembered this being the when they tried to improve the lake, and they built.
I remember that.
And according to, they spent quite a bit of money on it. It was quite a big project, but according to a couple of the locals, it didn't really improve at all. So it was just a big waste of money. But anyway, that's quite a big drain down the other end of the park. There's a couple, just to finish off, a couple more photos of First Vic sailing. You can see in the background some of the buildings. I think that one's on St Kilda Road. And obviously a few more of the sailboats. And that's pretty much it at this stage. I've been told there's a whole lot of more photos still to come from one of the old timers in the group who's just found a whole heap of photos for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of
Lake.
what I've found in the lake. I didn't realise how much, until a couple of months ago, I didn't realise how much history was actually located at the lake. And I'm sure there's more I haven't uncovered yet. So, does anyone have any questions or observations?
Hi, Geoff.
Yeah, go for it.
Vicky here. In the early 1990s, in the very early years of this Rotary Club, the two small planted islands that are opposite the golf driving range.
Yep.
The Rotary Club of Albert Park and the Rotary Club of Melbourne South, was it, Joan? Actually,
I thought it was only us, Vicky.
no,
We did only Albert Park.
we did one each.
Okay.
Yeah, they had the big one, we had the little one, or something like that.
Yeah, and we actually did all the planting out there. We were out there with our gumboots and tools, and the plants were all provided, and we did the planting.
I bet Vicky had rubber gloves on.
Of course.
It was after that restoration work happened, before they fully refilled it.
And the newest residents at the lake there is one mum and dad swan with 6 babies.
I saw the post on Facebook. When do they, all the swans are tagged, are they, or have ring collars, neck collars?
Around their neck.
Yeah, actually, I've seen them around.
And they don't migrate anywhere, they're permanent residents?
Interesting, I don't know.
Yes, they don't migrate.
Yeah, and they don't mind the boats, yachts?
No, not at all. They stay out of their way. So,
Not sure they like the racing cars.
yeah. Well, it's actually, I don't, there's some talk that it won't be back there next year. We normally have to vacate the hall about a week or so before the race, and then a week after we don't get back in either. It's quite a disruption, actually.
Yeah.
So, but from our point of view, they do pay us well. So.
And you said they built your current boat shed?
So they got, yes. So Park Victoria did. It was part of the agreement when the Grand Prix came, is they rebuilt it. So, and I think they also must have built one or two of the other ones there at the same time. Mm-hmm. So, but when they built it, they There's a big hole in there at the moment, which has got bigger and bigger, and that's where the pigeons come in. So it's a bit... We are going to, there is proposed to have a sailing open day down there in January, February, depending on what Dan Andrews allows and everything. So we'll definitely invite you guys down.
Oh, good.
And then have a barbecue. It's a good spot there just to sit and Saturday afternoon, just watch the world go by, actually.
Do you have good barbecue facilities? Because we have a good van.
Yeah, I know, I've heard that. We might have to take you up on that one.
Yeah, it's very good for that.
Yeah.
So it's a good spot, part of the world down there. I've been out of the 5K zone, so I haven't been down there for 4 or 5 months actually. So
It's out of your 5K zone, isn't it?
yes. So the last time we sailed there would have been like mid-March, I think.
Yeah.
And we got stuck out there because the wind dropped for the afternoon, so they had to row us in. So, but, so hopefully we'll get back there.
Jeff, quick question: how much does the level of the lake fluctuate between seasons? Or
well, significantly enough that it can be full. So back in April, when they had a lot of rain, it was pretty much right up to the top. But by November, apparently, it can drop, and we can. There's been times when they've cancelled races because there hasn't been enough water in there. So we sort of have contingencies. We'll go down to Karkarook Lake or something.
Right.
That's the case. But apparently, they hopefully they've got it under control, and they keep enough water in there. But yeah, so it seemed to have lasted for the last few years, but. One of the guys says it does evaporate quite easily, and there's always a discussion at sailing meetings.
yeah, my son's company built that Cowderoy Street bypass and the interceptor pit and the pumping system and whatnot.
Okay, does he reckon it works?
Well, he's been told that it does, but it is only as good as their maintenance on cleaning.
Yep.
If the traps don't get cleaned,
Then it doesn't.
and he's written up a protocol for them to do it, but he knows it's not being done.
Yeah, because a couple of the locals, not so much me, the older timers, they complain about it. So there must. So obviously, Parks Victoria only have so much money, don't they?
Yep.
Yes, yeah.
And or is it more government, as in the Water Authority?
No.
Be Parks?
Yeah, Parks Vic. They like cutting grass and trimming trees.
Yep.
And not much else.
Yeah, and telling it's off.
Yeah.
But
that lake level, the level of the water really is totally dependent on how much rain we get, because there's no real catchment other than the drains going into it.
Yeah, I think so.
So if it's a dry year, you won't get any water in it.
Mm.
Freshwater lake.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No. Has anyone seen it dry back in 20 years ago? I have. I wasn't around then.
I did. I saw it emptied.
Really?
They drained it when
Yes.
they did a lot of dredging there prior to the first Grand Prix.
95, yeah.
You might recall that's when we saw it very low.
Right.
Yeah, I remember it being drained.
I remember it being drained, and they found shopping trolleys in there. They said there was supposed to be bodies in there, but there wasn't. There was bags. There was bags found there with dead cats and dogs in there. Ocean bags at the lake. Yeah, but there was no bodies in there.
One local told me there's only been 1 or 2 deaths at the lake that have been accidental.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I've heard. But there's nothing that comes up on Google about deaths in the lake.
Okay.
There was a murder or something down the south end. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for that, to giving us some knowledge of our own backyard.
Yeah, well, it's good. I've actually learned something else.
Yeah. But before you go, or before everybody goes, I'd like to note that Heidi's here. And so I repeat basically what I did before. Thank you for our newest member. You've got a certificate, which I emailed you, but when we're back in the real world, we'll make sure you get all the right badges and books and everything else so that you know what's going on. But please, if everybody could now welcome Heidi for coming too, please, and joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be part of the group and the club. I can't wait to get involved. So please use me.
Yeah, it's been dragging on, hasn't it? Sorry,
it's dragging on a bit. I'm so keen to get involved. Yeah. So just contact me. Let me know what I can do to help.
Oh yes, we will as soon as we can.
Kim got a number. That'll be it.
Yes, I'm sure.
Definitely keen to work with Kim. I'm very interested in some of her projects as well as all of yours. So.
Yes, she's doing a lot now.
Heidi, what I'd like to do is in the next day or two, catch up with you to give you your starter pack, which gives you more of an insight into Rotary and Rotary Albert Park. And the same with you, Kylie. I'll catch up in the next day or so and give you your starter pack so that you hit the ground running.
Whereabouts do you live?
Both local.
I'm very local. I live right next to Gasworks Park. So
Perfect.
Oh,
ooh, that's handy.
Right near me.
Adrian, can you give Heidi my details, please? Because I think I can put her to work pretty much straight away.
Raylene, I'll do that.
I live opposite Gasworks Park, so just off Pickle Street at the Park Apartments.
Perfect.
Very close.
Well, thank you all for coming again tonight. And thank you, Geoff, for giving us all a little bit of knowledge of our own backyard that probably we all should have known but don't. And see you all again.